Hello and welcome back to another episode of Exos Heroes. And recently we've been seeing a lot of pretty aggressive shift towards kind of pay to win or maybe even pay to play type of content, right, with Chapter 11. And frankly, we know a lot of players out there are struggling with some of the content as well as their progression. So what we want to do today is to give you guys some tips and tricks on some of the things that you should be doing as a low spender or a free-to-play player. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and subscribe as we're pushing towards 400 subscribers. So let's start with number 1. The first thing on our list is to make use of the new and updated equipment exchange. And this is actually a change that we really liked from the dev. I think it's something that's relatively new player friendly. So let's talk a little bit more about why we think this is important. As a part of the Season 2 update, obviously one of the new mechanisms that's introduced to the game is this thing called Hero Awakening. And that is a very powerful mechanism if you can actually take advantage of it. But obviously it's quite difficult for a lot of players out there to take advantage of it right now, as it requires a lot of fated equipment. So one way the devs allow us to have more access to fated equipment is through the updated equipment exchange, which now allows you to buy fated equipment from there for 4,000 Powder of Light. Of course, 4,000 Powder of Light is not very cheap, which is why we're highly recommending everyone out there, especially the new players, to start saving those Powder of Light. So instead of selling your equipments, make sure you disassemble them into Powders of Light and keep those, so when you do have the opportunity to buy some equipments, fated equipment from the equipment exchange, you will have the resources to do so. And another reason why we think this is really important is a lot of times it's difficult to find the equipment that you actually want, right? A lot of times it's a lot more RNG reliant. Not only do you have to get the type of equipment you want, but also you need to get a specific piece. So sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating. However, with the equipment exchange, you can see exactly what equipment is there, what type it is, whether it's physical or magical, and what specific part it is, right? If you want a magical boots, you can just wait for it to show up and buy it, right? So this is a very efficient way to kind of round off a set that you have been waiting to finish and allow you to then use that to do the Hero Awakening. So in our opinion, it's a great addition. Also, just as a part of a tag on to this, obviously now in the Door of Creation, you can specifically craft the type of gear that you want. So if you want a fated boots, you can just craft boots and then hopefully you will get that one. Or if you want specifically just the armor itself, you can do that. So that's also a great addition that the dev have added in, but obviously there's still a level of RNG there where the equipment exchange takes all that away. So for all of us that are free to play or low spenders, we highly recommend you to start disassembling your equipment into Powder of Light and use that in the equipment exchange to get the specific fated gear that you're looking for. The second point we want to bring up is the idea of using the scouting system. We really think the scouting system should be utilized a little bit more than it has been. We understand that obviously the scouting system is not necessarily the greatest. The intention by the devs is definitely to do something that's more free-to-play friendly, but at the same time, I'm not sure friendly is the right word to use. It's clearly geared towards free-to-play player, but it is a very grindy affair, right? So it takes a lot of time. However, given the importance of getting duplicated generals nowadays, I think this is really crucial to utilize, especially for us who don't want to spend a lot of money to summon a lot of heroes all the time. This is one way where we can guarantee to get the general that we're looking for. And once you have them, obviously you can either use them for transcending your hero, or perhaps more importantly now, with the introduction of the signature force, that would be a great place to utilize these fated generals. So scouting system, guys, don't overlook that. Especially if you're a free-to-play player, make sure you start sacrificing those heroes and start to build up those mileage points so you can get more of those generals that otherwise would be really hard to come by. Obviously, we really hope that the scouting system gets a little bit of buff. Right now, 30,000 points for one hero, it's a lot. We've been doing this for about a week now, and I think we're only 2,000 points into the whole 30,000 points, so that gives you an idea of how long it's going to take. So it's a very, very slow and grindy process, but at the moment, it's kind of the only thing that we have. And that leads to our third point, which is save up those key heroes. As part of the scouting system, not only do you have to sacrifice a lot of heroes, it also requires you to sacrifice specific heroes in order to get the generals that you're looking for. So for example, Garth, it'll require you to sacrifice one Rutley. Bathory will require you to sacrifice one Rira, and the new hero Dorka will require you to sacrifice one Naomi. So these heroes are by no means common and frequent heroes that you'll get. So when you do have them, make sure you save them up, because obviously they're there and they will be able to help you complete those scouting systems just a little bit faster. So make sure when you do come by them, don't sacrifice them, don't reroll them, don't use them for Transcend if you can help it. Just save them up, as it'll be really, really crucial in the future. And now we talked about all these, fated heroes, why they're important for the Signature Force. Let's move on to our fourth point, which is actually about the Signature Force. So we've talked about the Signature Force quite a bit, and obviously we talked about how incredibly costly it is, how difficult it is to actually utilize it, and all of those are true. However, I do want to point out that the Signature Force does have a lot of great benefits if you can actually unlock them. And in our opinion, the Tier 1 Level 1 actually provides perhaps the most significant level up. Once you have Tier 1 Level 1 unlocked for any of the region, it gives you the additional elemental damage that allows you to do a little bit more damage with your attacks, and also allow you to break a different type of Guardian Stone that's specific to that region. So this is a great benefit, and it's almost like a hero element enhancement. But compared to a regular hero element enhancement, this is a lot more efficient, because it doesn't only apply to one hero, right? It applies to all the heroes in this region. And more importantly, from a cost perspective, it's a lot cheaper. A hero element enhancement requires a hero that's level 90, that has been transcended at least once, that has been enhanced 5 times. Here, it doesn't require that, so any hero, as long as it's within that specific region, will get the benefit. So in our opinion, if you're a free-to-play player and you think it's too daunting to unlock all the different tiers, we completely understand that, but we do highly recommend you to save up the resources to get to at least Tier 1 Level 1 and make sure you get that elemental damage bonus. It is very crucial in our opinion. And now let's talk about the last, but definitely not the least on our list, which is do the map explorations. As we all know, map exploration is one of the things that we tend to overlook quite a bit, but in our opinion, with a lot of changes that came along with Season 2, we think this is something that we should definitely pay a little bit more attention to, especially when we have access to Levy Stones, right? Because the game doesn't actually have a lot of ways for you to use Levy Stones. And here are a couple of reasons why we think map exploration is very important. Because one, it gives you the different type of circle materials. And what are the circle materials, you might think? The circle materials are the things that you need for unleashed potentials. And we think this is really important now, especially for those of you who wants to use rare heroes, as the mana generation change in Season 2, in our opinion, really lowered the rare heroes' ability to generate mana. From that perspective, to have unleashed potentials for them is very important. And obviously, in order to have unleashed potentials, you will have to have those circle materials for them. So make sure you do your explorations and start saving up those materials. Secondly, it also allows you to gather a little bit more equipments, right? Those low tier equipments that you can get. And this is very important as well, as it will help you to get more fodders that you can then turn into Powder of Light and use it to get fated equipment in the exchange, and eventually help you get to those awakening states on your heroes. So again, this is one other thing that we think everyone should be doing as often as possible. Obviously, as we mentioned before, like many of the other free-to-play or low-spender friendly features in the game, they're all relatively grindy and takes a long time. But if you like the game as we do, if you enjoyed the game and you think you'll be playing for a while, then maybe consider start saving those resources as early as possible, as you'll be in it for the long haul. But these are just the things that we came up with. If you guys have any other ideas that you want to share with other people, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. Or if you have any other suggestions or things that have worked out really well for you, let us know and we can definitely incorporate into another similar video in the future. And as always, if you want to see other Exos Hero related videos, please feel free to check out the rest of our channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye bye.